So, hello, all my lovely people. Thank you for being here. If you don't know me yet, my name is Eva. I'm a mindset and anxiety coach. I also hold a master in family systematic therapy approach. And today I'm going to explain a little bit about my roadmap. I'm going to give you examples. I'm going to give you some tools you can use how to come from being like overwhelmed, from being disconnected from yourself, anxious, to like truly be present in the moment and enjoy our life and be really connected with ourselves, right? And I decided to do this video because I noticed there might be some confusion around the topics that I teach, because sometimes I may teach about how to become yourself, how to be connected, and other times I teach like grounding techniques or how to overcome an anxiety, overwhelm. I even touch some organizational topics because I also think they're relevant. So I wanted to dive deep into this today, also give you some tools you can use in each stage. So you can basically also do it alone, right? And what I've noticed, what I've learned that helped me personally the most, because I also went through this journey alone and also with my clients, is that in some point of our adulthood life, we might find ourselves in like extremely stressful situations that can bring to either physical or emotional burnout, right? And this can also mean regularly being anxious, regularly being overwhelmed. And this can be because of the work situation, because of our children, because of all the things to do in household, also because of our relationships. And it might even not be visible so much on the outside, but somewhere we just lose the connection with ourselves, right? And we might find ourselves in functional freeze or any kind of other freeze, but in the functional freeze, it's, I believe, the most dangerous one, because in this state, we definitely don't recognize something's wrong, because basically we are functioning, we are doing everything we should, we are working, our houses looks okay, like we are spending time with our kids, but something deep inside doesn't feel right, right? So we might even notice we are not sure who we are anymore or what makes us feel happy. I was even talking with one of my clients last week, and she was like, "Yeah, but I go to the seaside, or the moments I should enjoy when I'm spending free time with my family, with my friends, I don't enjoy them, right?" And this is like classic example of this. So I work in 3 steps. In the first step, and this is usually where the most clients come to me, is when we are anxious and overwhelmed and totally disconnected, right? Even though if everything seems right. So in this stage, what I do, I mostly, and what I recommend you to do, I mostly teach grounding exercises, breathing work, nervous system regulation, a lot of journaling to like really discover why we are here. But this is also a little bit more in the second stage, because in the first stage, our body is giving us all these signals telling us that something's wrong, right? Something doesn't add up. And even if we, with our brains and our mind, are fully in this role, our body knows that something's wrong, right? So we should always listen to our body. But however, in the first stage, we are always working to like make some peace with all these things that are happening to us, to like calm down the anxiety, the overwhelm, so we can even go to the second stage, right? The second stage where when we can research a little bit more why this is happening to us, right? So in the first stage, it's also like really important to start looking for help, because if we look for help, we don't need to go through it alone, right? And we can learn so much about ourselves. But however, we need to find some balance we need to find also the things in our environment that makes us feel so anxious, so we can work on them in the second stage. And also there are people that come to me in the second stage, right? And the second stage is basically when we are not so anxious anymore. Now, beware, the stages always, there is no straight line between them, right? So it can always flow a little bit left to the right, and that's life, right? But however, in the second stage, we are taking all this knowledge that we learned in the stage one, like grounding techniques and nervous system regulation and breath work and also meditation, anything basically that can help us, and make them our own, right? Make them a way of living until we found a way that works for us in almost every anxious situation. However, this doesn't mean we will never get anxious anymore, right? Because some levels of an anxiety and overwhelm are also normal, right? Now, the second stage is all about recognizing and creating a life environment for ourselves that makes us feel safe and secure also long term. So even though these two stages might seem pretty similar, in the first one, we are looking for a solution that can help us in the moment, okay? So that can break our anxiety circle. But in the second stage, we are looking about how to create circumstances where we are not so anxious often, and where we are like looking for long-term peace, right? To make this way of living our own, and also to understand why we are really here in the first place and create our life around our true values, our identity, and we really live authentically, right? So the second stage is all about making things happen, right? Like learning and enjoying the moment. Because what I've noticed is that sometimes we really have to learn how to enjoy things, right? Because at some point our life was so overwhelming that we literally forgot to live it, to live our life, to live it as we deserve it. So this is something I see, it's it's so heartbreaking because life is so beautiful, and the hard things will happen to all of us, but at the end of the day, we need to be strong enough and learn how to live with them, right? And also, we need emotional tools, emotional support that we haven't learned yet, so we can deal with everything that's going on. And only in this state, we can really deal with everything that's going on and still be strong about it. I'm not talking about not being sad, not being angry. I'm just talking about knowing healthy ways to deal with this anger, right? And then in third stage, it's all about like really putting this our values, creating a life we want to live inside us as well. And this means like really deeper connection with ourselves, like really accepting ourselves for who we are. So one example of this is, and I find this very interesting, I'm just about to write an email about it. But if you would ask me like 1 or 2 years ago, what's one of my biggest personal growth goal, I would definitely say to become more organized, right? To just have more organized home, a better looking home. And it's not that my home is so chaotic, it's not so bad, but I just really wanted to be this person that has everything labeled, and yeah. So what I noticed today is that I have truly accepted this side of me. I'm highly artistic, but also I'm not an organized person, right? So when I was trying to force this goal on myself of becoming someone who I'm actually not, I didn't live with my full purpose, right? Because this is not my full purpose. My full purpose is to enjoy in my chaos. My full purpose is to be artistic. My full purpose is to like really create amazing things, right? And this is where I feel happy, and this is where I feel at home. So to force myself to be extremely organized, only with this, I only guilt tripped myself in wishing to be someone who I'm not, right? And today, I mean, I did, of course, um, make some of the organization technique my own because they make my life easier. But at the end of the day, I accept that I just don't need to be someone who I'm not, right? And now I really enjoy my chaotic space because it feels so homey, it feels mine, right? And that's the thing with personal growth. It might not bring you to where your vision is right now, but it will bring you to yourself, right? To really fully accept yourself with everything you are. And that's the point of view, right? To even accept things that we might think would be different, right? Just to accept ourselves fully. And that's what phase 3 is about. Now, one thing that I think it's really, really helpful, and I see so many clients of mine doing amazing stuff because of this exercise technique, is to like sit down with yourself and take some time and really write down, think about really hard periods of your life, right? And write them down and write about everything that happened in this point of life. So financially, relationships, how did you felt? Was there something going on? Did something happen? Like everything that you think might fuel your anxiety, fuel your stress in this period, right? Take away your shine. So basically to just write down everything that was going on. And then you can take a look, what do all these periods have in common? Also to write down your body signs, right? Because I think our body can tell us so much about ourselves, right? So for example, I have dermatitis and it's always good, but sometimes I can notice it on my body. And when I started to think about, basically there was some things happening in my life always the same when I noticed dermatitis as well. So this basically means that my body was telling me this thing make me super stressed and showing me with the signs, right? And now I know where is the problem and I can fix it. So you can always try to look a bigger picture and find what's causing you stress, right? And the more you think about it, the more common things you find, the more clear it will be to you where you have to work on. And I can also see that with my members. I think the best working things in my group, more than overwhelmed right now, are challenges that are shorter, like 7 days, that are not overwhelming, that have small, simple steps for every day where we can build every day on ourselves, work on ourselves, right? Because they are not additionally overwhelming, because the life is already overwhelming, and they can really help us to create new habits and think about how we feel when we are doing stuff differently, right? Because then we can also know if doing stuff differently is the person we actually are, or is just the person we want to be, right? And we really don't want to be some things about, we don't want to become some idea that we had about us that just seems so perfect, and we want to be that, right? We want to be who we are. And that's why it's everything about real, authentic connection. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm always here, and see you in the next video.